Testing, testing. Is this damn thing even broadcasting anymore? Doesn't matter. If you're out there, if you can hear this, listen close. This is Dr. Arlo Finch, or what's left of him. Used to work with the little bloodsuckers. Never imagined, well, you're listening to what we're calling Sunshine State Screams. The frequency is whatever this box can push out before the juice runs dry or the world ends, whichever comes first. Consider this your only station broadcasting live from the middle of hell, Florida, the paradise that swallowed itself whole. It started with a buzz, not the good kind, not the cicada symphony or the distant whine of airboats. This was different, sharper, hungrier. Remember those genetically modified 80s Egypti they released? Supposed to be sterile, supposed to curb dengue, Zika, be the miracle cure. Yeah, miracle. Turns out the miracle was turning us into them. Something in the RNA spliced wrong, mutated, God knows. Doesn't matter how anymore. Just what? The bite doesn't just itch now. It rewrites you. Turns your blood to sludge, your brain to static, and leaves nothing but a terrible gnawing hunger. For flesh. Our flesh. It hit Jacksonville first. Hard. Like a biblical plague descended on the St. John's River. 1 minute folks are complaining about the humidity, the next, screams. Not human screams, not really. More like tearing metal. Wet. Guttural. The news tried calling it mass hysteria, riots. Then the cameras caught it. Live. Downtown Jax. A business suit. Torn and bloody, face slack, eyes milky, latched onto a cop trying to help him. Took the cop's throat out with a bite that looked effortless, like tearing paper. Then the cop, he just got up, shambling, aimless, until he smelled fresh meat. That footage looped for maybe 10 minutes before the stations went dead. Static. Beautiful, terrifying static. Miami. Miami was a different kind of nightmare. Think about it. Packed beaches, South Beach, Ocean Drive, bodies pressed tight. Tourist season never really ends. The swarm found paradise, reports, frantic texts flooding the dying networks, talked about clouds, literal clouds of mosquitoes descending like a dark fog. People swatting, screaming, running, then stumbling, falling. The biting wasn't just painful, it was transformative. Violent convulsions, skin graying in real time. And then, the rise. Thousands. Rising from the sand, from the pools, from the tiled floors of Art Deco hotels. A wave of gray, shambling hunger washing inland from the glittering coast. The highways. I-95, the turnpike, became rivers of steel and panic. Gridlock. Then, the tapping on windows. The shattering glass. The screams cut short. The Everglades aren't safe anymore either. The gators, they learned fast. Avoid the gray ones. The smell is wrong. The taste is poison. Got a message? Bounced off a dying satellite maybe. Time-stamped yesterday afternoon. Orlando, land of magic. The sender. Magic fades fast. Said, they're inside the parks. Mickey's gone feral, saw it. Main Street. Costume torn, face wrong. Bit a kid dressed like Goofy. Kid didn't scream. Just stared. Then got up. They move slow, till they smell you. Then it's sprinting, unnatural, fast, like broken puppets pulled by wires. Fireworks still going off. Nobody's watching. Just running, running, running. The message cuts off there. Static hiss. Think about that image. Cinderella's castle lit up, fireworks bursting in the humid air, and beneath it, a slaughterhouse masquerade, the happiest place on earth, feeding ground. St. Pete tried to hold the line. Bridge became a fortress. Sunken gardens. Maybe they thought the walls would hold. They didn't. Heard a transmission. Garbled. Coast Guard cutter near Clearwater. Talking about bodies. Hundreds. Washing ashore near Pier 60. Not drowned. Moving. Dragging themselves onto the sand, waterlogged, bloated, but hungry. The Gulf isn't an escape. It's a conveyor belt delivering death. Tampa Bay is chaos. MacDill went dark, completely. That silence, that's more terrifying than any scream. Channel side. Reports of people barricaded in the aquarium. Imagine it. Hammerheads circling. The dead. Pressing against the glass from the outside. And inside. The smell of fear. The slow realization that the water might be safer than the land. For now. Me? I was near Gainesville when the first alert screamed across my encrypted channels. Lab chatter turned to pure panic, knew what it was instantly. Saw the sequence markers in the fragmented data bursts. Our miracle. Our beautiful, sterile solution. It had become the perfect vector for oblivion. Grabbed my bug-out bag, irony's thick these days, and my portable lab kit. Useless now, mostly. But hope. It clings like a virus, too. Headed south initially. Stupid instinct. Towards the epicenter. Saw the smoke plumes over Ocala National Forest, not wildfires. Refugees burning things. Or being burned. Turned west, towards the Big Bend. Less people. Maybe less them. Made it as far as a ranger station deep in the Withlacoochee State Forest. Abandoned. Radio gear still humming. My sanctuary. For now. But the buzz. It's getting louder outside. Not just the dead. The real threat. The tiny assassins. Millions of them. Riding the warm, wet air currents. The air itself tastes metallic. Coppery. Like old blood and ozone. Every slap at my neck, every whine near my ear. It's a Russian roulette chamber spinning. Heard a story. Third hand, crackling over CB. A convoy trying to make it from Sarasota to Fort Myers. Thought the back roads were safe. Hit an ambush. Not bandits. Them. A pack. A dozen or more. Hiding in the thick palmetto scrub beside a washed-out bridge. Came out, not shambling. Running. Low, loping, impossibly fast strides. Like cheetahs made of rotten meat. Smashed through windshields, dragged screaming people out onto the asphalt. One woman. They say she fought like a wildcat, had a tire iron, crushed one skull. Pulp and gray matter spraying like overripe fruit. Bought herself seconds. Then 3 more were on her. Tearing. Biting. Her screams. They cut off into a wet, choking gurgle. The CB went silent after that. Just heavy breathing, then static. The violence. It's not just feeding. It's frenzied, primal, utterly devoid of anything recognizable as human. That's the horror. It's not just the dead walking. It's the way they move. The speed when triggered, the sheer ferocity. They don't tire, they don't feel pain, they just consume. And the mosquitoes? They're the silent partners. The delivery system buzzing in the shadows, the humid air, the long grass. A bite you might not even feel until the fever hits, until your skin starts to crawl, until the world bleeds gray and the only thing left is the hunger. Saw lights flickering on the horizon towards the Gulf Coast a little while ago. Big flashes, not lightning. Explosions. Maybe the Navy trying to scuttle ships in Tampa Bay to block the channel. Maybe a fuel depot going up. Or maybe it's just another neighborhood falling. Another pocket of resistance snuffed out. The glow paints the underside of the clouds a sickly orange, like a bruise on the night sky. They're drawn to sound, to light, to movement, to the warmth of the living. Remember that. Silence is your shield. Darkness is your cloak. Cold. Well, good luck finding cold in Florida. The humidity wraps around you like a shroud, thick with the scent of decay and jasmine. A cloying, sweet stench of death blooming under the moonlight. I have to move soon. This station, the hum, it's a beacon. The carrion birds are circling. And not just the feathered kind. Heard scratching at the boarded-up windows downstairs. Not frantic. Persistent. Testing. They know I'm here. The scent of living sweat. Of fear. It carries. And the buzz. God, the buzz is everywhere. A constant maddening thrum in the background, like the earth itself is vibrating with disease. So, if you're hearing this, you're not alone. Or maybe you are, either way. This is Dr. Arlo Finch, broadcasting from the eye of the storm. Find shelter. Deep shelter. Seal the cracks. Cover every inch of skin. Burn citronella if you have it, though God knows if it works on these things. If you have to move, move like smoke. Quiet. Unseen. Avoid the cities. Avoid the coasts. Avoid everything. And if you see a cloud, a dark, shifting mass on the horizon, run. Don't look back. Just run. Because it's not rain, it's not dust, it's death, riding on a million tiny wings. Death that doesn't just kill you, it remakes you. The scratching downstairs, it stopped. That's worse. The silence is heavier now, thick, expectant. They're listening too. Or they found another way in. Gotta go. Stay off the air. Stay alive. If the signal holds, I'll find another box, another frequency. Look for the static. Listen for the screams. Finch here. Still breathing. Barely. Made it out of the ranger station with seconds to spare. Heard the wood give way downstairs, a sound like a rotten tree snapping in a hurricane. Didn't look back, just ran. Into the suffocating dark of the Withlacoochee. Ran until my lungs felt like shredded paper, and the only light came from the sickly orange glow pulsing on the western horizon. Tampa Bay burning? Maybe. Doesn't matter. What matters is the buzz followed me. It's always there, in your ears, in your skull. A constant reminder that the air itself is poisoned. Forget the bite. The wine alone is enough to drive you mad. Found shelter. Sort of. An old stormwater drain, concrete and reeking of stagnant water and something else. Something sweetly rotten. It's cramped, damp, crawling with actual roaches, but the grate overhead is intact mostly. Keeps the bigger things out. The things that shuffle and moan and run like hell unleashed when they catch your scent. Saw a pack of them near Lecanto. 8, maybe 10. Dragging what was left of a deer. Tore into it like hyenas, wet, tearing sounds echoing in the pre-dawn stillness. No grace, no hesitation. Just pure, gnashing consumption. One looked up, muzzle dripping black gore, milky eyes scanning the trees, right towards my hiding spot. Didn't breathe, didn't blink. Held it until the thing lost interest, turning back to the carcass. They're learning, or the hunger is refining them. Either thought chills the blood. Orlando. God, Orlando. Got a garbled burst transmission this morning, bleeding through the static like a dying man's whisper. Not from the parks anymore. From somewhere near Lake Eola, downtown, the sender, downtown desperate, said, "They're hurting us, pushing us towards the high-rises, like cattle. Clever, too damn clever. Saw them, coordinated, blocking alleys, using abandoned cars as walls, forcing survivors into open squares. Then the swarm hits, not just the dead, the real swarm. Clouds so thick you choke, biting through clothes, people drop, convulsing, changing fast, minutes, seconds sometimes. The screams, they don't stop. They just change pitch, become hungry. They're using the mosquitoes as weapons, flushing us, corralling us, for the slaughterhouse. Then, gunfire. Close, sustained. Then silence. Just the hum. The endless, God-forsaken hum. St. Pete, Pier 60 is gone. Saw it through binoculars from a ridge near Brooksville before the smoke got too thick. Not just overrun, destroyed. Something big hit it. A fuel barge adrift? Artillery? Doesn't matter. It's a skeletal ruin jutting into water choked with debris and bodies. Not all of them floating. Some were crawling onto the beaches of Treasure Island. Made it past the sand, into the streets. Heard a CB snippet, frantic, breaking up, about a last stand near the Dolly Museum. Barricades of overturned trolleys and museum benches. People fighting with fire axes, garden tools, desperation. Held for an hour, the voice said. Maybe 2. Then, a new sound. Not moans. A kind of clicking, chittering. Thousands of tiny jaws. A dark cloud rolling in off the bay, thicker than the smoke. Descended on the defenders. The screaming. It wasn't human by the end. Just high-pitched insectile shrieks mixed with wet tearing. The barricade fell silent 5 minutes after that cloud arrived. Jacksonville. Silence. Radio silence. Ham radio silence. Even the military bands I used to monitor, gone. Just a hollow static where a city of nearly 1 million used to pulse. Think about that silence. It's louder than any scream. What fills it? Shambling feet on deserted streets? The drip of fluids in abandoned office towers? Or just the buzz? The pervasive, inescapable buzz of the true conquerors. Miami. Miami is a tomb. Satellite pass I managed to piggyback on showed heat signatures fading fast. Vast sections dark and cold, except for movement. Massive, slow-moving heat blooms shifting through the streets. Hordes, feeding, breeding ground for the swarm. The Everglades are bleeding, infected. Saw a gator, a big one, tangled with two of them near Alligator Alley. Tore one in half with a whip crack of its tail, crushed the other's skull. Then, it just lay there, breathing heavy, bitten, dozens of times. Watched it for an hour, saw the gray creep into its scales, saw the milky film cover its eyes, saw it finally rise, not as a gator anymore, something slower, more deliberate, more hungry. The glades aren't a refuge, they're an amplifier. Fort Lauderdale tried the canals, thought the water might be a barrier. Mistake. Big mistake. Got a distress call. A family on a yacht near Las Olas. Thought they were safe. Then, splashing. Not fish. Things walking up the canal walls, dragging themselves onto the docks, onto the boats. The caller. A woman's voice, raw with terror. They're coming out of the water. They don't drown, they just walk. Bobby tried to push one off with a boat hook. It grabbed it, pulled him in. Oh God, they're tearing him. Transmission cut off with a wet crunch and a high-frequency squeal that drilled into my brain. The water isn't safe. Nothing is safe. Tampa! McDill's silence broke. Briefly. A burst transmission on an emergency military freck. Ragged, panicked breathing. A young voice, maybe Air Force security. Perimeter breached! Repeat, breached! They came through the fences and were like paper. Not just walking, climbing, over the razor wire. Fast! Too fast! We're falling back to the bunkers. But the swarm... The damn swarm is inside the vents. People are changing in the corridors, shooting each other. It's chaos. Command is gone. We're... Then an explosion. Close, deafening even through the mic. Then, the wet, guttural sounds of feeding, and the buzzing. Always the buzzing. McDill is gone. The last bastion in the bay. Fallen. My own flight. It's been hell. Moving mostly at night, through backyards, drainage ditches, patches of scorched pine forest. Every shadow holds teeth. Every rustle in the palmetto could be 100 tiny wings, or one loping horror. Crossed Highway 19 near Homosassa, a graveyard of cars. Some burned out shells, others intact, but windows smashed inward. Dark stains on the seats. On the asphalt, found a minivan, doors open, child's shoe on the ground, a teddy bear, half submerged in a ditch filled with brackish, red-tinged water. Didn't look inside the van, didn't need to. The flies told the story, big, fat, lazy flies feasting. The smell worse than the drain, sweet decay and gasoline and despair. Had to fight yesterday. Near Wekiwachi. 2 of them. Came out of a collapsed souvenir shop. Not shambling. Alert. Head snapping towards me as I tried to skirt the rubble. They charged. That unnatural, broken puppet sprint. Faster than a man. All flailing limbs and gnashing jaws. I had a machete, stolen from a ranger's cache. First swing took the lead one high on the shoulder, bit deep, bone grated, didn't slow it, just made it angrier. Snarled, a sound like rocks in a garbage disposal. The second one lunged low, took it in the temple with the hilt, felt the skull give. It dropped, twitching. The first one was on me. Clawed hands raking, grabbing my pack, teeth snapping inches from my face. Rotten breath hot and foul. I jammed the machete up under its jaw. Hard. Felt the point punch through soft palate into brain. It stiffened. A gurgle. then went limp, dead, again. This was our doing. My field, twisted into this nightmare. The violence, it's necessary, brutal, visceral. It leaves a stain on your soul deeper than the gore on your clothes. Heard a story, passed like a grim campfire tale on a pirate radio channel. Naples, a retirement community turned fortress. They held out. Smart folks sealed the clubhouse, had supplies. Then, someone got bit. Hit it. Maybe a scratch. Maybe a single mosquito found a gap. 3 days later, it started. Inside the walls, the transformation. Quiet at first, then screaming, then gunshots, then silence. The story claims the last transmission was a frail voice singing "Que sera, sera" over the sound of breaking glass and wet chewing. Hope it's just a story. Fear it's not. The swarm. It's changing too. Not just carriers anymore. Reports trickling in. Whispers on the wind. The mosquitoes are feeding on the infected, draining that corrupted sludge, and it's making them bigger, meaner. Their bites. They burn now, like acid. And the reaction, faster. Much faster. Saw a man near Crystal River. Got swarmed near a stagnant pond. Maybe 20 bites. He was down in under a minute, convulsing, foaming at the mouth, skin mottling gray before my eyes. He rose in less than 5, not shambling, hunting, looking right at me. Had to put him down. A single shot from the .22 pistol I lifted from a deserted police cruiser. Small caliber. Had to be precise. Took him in the eye. The sound, like a rotten pumpkin dropped on concrete. He dropped. But the swarm lingered, hovering over his body, feasting. They're not just vectors. They're part of the ecosystem now. Scavengers. Accelerants. Got a signal. Strong, clear. For a minute. From the Keys. Marathon, maybe. A Coast Guard cutter. Voice tight with disbelief and horror. Sunshine State screams, if you're receiving, it's not just Florida. Repeat, not just Florida. Reports, confirmed, outbreaks, Houston, New Orleans, Savannah, carried by winds, by birds, by them hitching rides on boats, planes. God knows. The Gulf Stream, it's carrying it. North, fast. The mosquitoes, they're riding weather fronts. We just passed a cruise ship, adrift. Decks crawling with things. And the cloud, a dark mass, moving with it. Like a living storm. We're heading for deep water. Mayday. Mayday. This is USCGC Hammerhead. We are... Transmission dissolved into a roar of static, mixed with screams, tearing metal, and the unmistakable high-pitched whine of a million tiny wings filling the bridge. Then nothing. Global? It's global. The Sunshine State scream is spreading, carried on the wind, on the water, on a billion beating wings. The glow on the horizon is brighter tonight. Closer. Feels like it's coming from the direction of Clearwater, St. Pete's funeral pyre. The air tastes like ash and salt and something metallic, like blood on the wind. My drain. It feels less like shelter now, more like a tomb waiting to be sealed. The buzzing outside the grate. It's louder, persistent. Like they know I'm here. Like they're tasting the air, searching for the warmth, the CO2 of my breath. The generator powering this rig, The fuel is low, maybe an hour left. Then, darkness. Real darkness. And silence. Except for the buzz, and the things that answer it. Found a map, water-stained. Useless mostly, but it showed the Cross-Florida Barge Canal. Old project, never finished. But the trench, it's there. Runs from Yankeetown towards Palatka. Might be a path. Less populated. Maybe drier ground. Less swamp, fewer mosquitoes. Wishful thinking. But it's a direction. A thread of hope to grasp. Gotta move soon. Before the light dies. Before the fuel runs out. Before they find a way through the grate. Listen, if you're hearing this, it's worse than we thought. It's everywhere, and it's evolving. The dead are faster, smarter in their hunger. I did not expect this. The swarm is deadlier. The bite, it kills quicker, turns faster. Trust no one who's been outside. No one who might hide a bite, a scratch. The violence. It's the only language left that speaks. Be ruthless. Be silent. Be cold. Cover every inch. Seal every crack. The air is the enemy now. The very wind carries death. Generators failing. Fuel's almost gone. Can smell it. Fumes mixing with the stench of decay. That scratching sound. It's back. Not at the grate. Above me. On the street. Heavy, deliberate. More than one. Drawn by the hum? By my voice leaking out? Doesn't matter. Time's up. This is Dr. Arlo Finch. If you can head north. Head inland. Find high ground. Find a mountain if Florida had any. Find a hole and pull it in after you. Forget the cities. Jacksonville, Miami, Tampa, Orlando, St. Pete. They're charnel houses, feeding grounds. Forget the coast. The water betrays you. Fight if you must. Make it count. Aim for the head. Destroy the brain. Fire. Fire cleanses. Remember that. The lights are dying. The hum is fading, leaving only the other hum, the hungry hum, and the scraping. Closer now. Find the silence, live in the dark, outlast the buzz, and God help us all. Finch, still here, for now. Crawled out of that concrete tomb just before the ceiling gave way. Sounded like the sky falling. Dust choked me, blinded me, but I ran. Ran like hell itself was gnawing at my heels. Because it was, they were digging, not just scraping, digging, like animals, like things that remembered being burrowers. Left the pack, the useless lab gear, just the machete, the pistol, 3 rounds left, and the will to see one more sunrise. Doubt I'll see it. The Cross-Florida Barge Canal. It's a scar on the land. A muddy, half-dug ditch choked with weeds and the rusted hulks of abandoned machinery. My promised path. My thread of hope. It's a death trap. The air hangs thick and wet, heavier than anywhere else, ripe with decay and the cloying sweetness of blooming rot. Perfect breeding ground. The buzz. God, the buzz here isn't just sound. It's a physical thing. A wall of vibration you push through. Feels like walking through soup made of needles. Every exposed inch of skin prickles. You swat constantly, frantically, knowing each missed slap could be the one. The one that brings the fever, the gray, the hunger. Saw the farm near Inglis, or what was left. White clapboard house with a wide porch. Looked peaceful from a distance. Got closer. The smell hit first. Thick. metallic, sweet rot. Then the flies, savaged, ripped limb from limb, blood painted the walls, the straw, the old tractor, like a pack of rabid wolves got inside. But the wounds, ragged tears, yes, but also deep, precise punctures on the limbs, the necks. Mosquito bites, multiplied by thousands. They'd been swarmed while being torn apart. The violence, it wasn't just hunger, it was frenzy. A feeding frenzy amplified by the venom, the sheer agony of 1,000,000 burning bites. Found the dad, or part of him, propped against a stall door, shotgun in his lap, barrel bent, empty. His face, frozen in a rictus of pure terror and agony, eyes wide, milky. But he wasn't turned. He'd been bitten too many times, too fast. The transformation couldn't keep up with the sheer volume of poison flooding his system. He just died, messily, painfully. A small mercy in this hell. Heard the truck before I saw it. A ragged roar, engine screaming like a wounded animal. Came barreling down the canal service road, headlights swinging wildly, one dangling loose. A pickup. Bed piled high with boxes, furniture, a terrified-looking dog tied down. People inside, 4, 5. Saw a hand gripping the roll bar, white-knuckled. Hope. Fleeting, stupid hope. Maybe they had fuel. Maybe they knew a way out. I stepped into the road, waving my arms, my voice a hoarse croak lost under the engine's roar. They saw me. Slowed. Just for a second. The driver's eyes met mine through the grimy windshield. Wide. Desperate. Then he looked past me. Saw what was coming. They poured out of the tree line, not shambling, not running, flowing. A river of gray, rotting flesh, moving with terrifying, silent coordination. Dozens, maybe hundreds, drawn by the engine's scream. They hit the truck like a tidal wave, smashed the windshield, hands, arms clawing through the gap, the screams inside. Short, sharp bursts of pure terror, cut off by wet, tearing sounds. The truck lurched forward, tires spinning in the mud, dragging bodies tangled in the chassis. Made it 50 yards. Then the engine coughed, died. The gray tide washed over it, swarmed it. The dog's frantic barking turned to high-pitched shrieks, then gurgles. The boxes spilled, canned food, clothes, photographs scattering in the mud, trampled under shuffling, blood-smeared feet. I didn't watch. I ran, deeper into the canal ditch. The sound of that feeding frenzy, the wet rips, the crunch of bone, the low, contented growls mixed with the ever-present buzz. It's etched into my skull. Hope dies screaming in this place, and it draws the swarm. The Everglades are bleeding into the canal, saw the gators, not just the infected one I saw before. More, big bulls, moving slow, gray patches on their hides, eyes milky. They don't hunt the living gators, they ignore them. But they watch the banks. Saw one, half submerged in the brackish water near Dunellen, snatch a raccoon venturing too close to the edge, dragged it under. Bubbles, then stillness. The water isn't safe, nothing is safe, the air isn't safe. The ground vibrates with the tread of the hungry dead. Found a radio shack. Sort of. A trapper's hut on stilts near the Withlacoochee River Junction. Smelled safe, relatively. Mothballs and old leather. Powered by a solar panel miraculously intact. Got the rig working. Scanned the bands. Static, mostly. Then, a voice. Weak, fading, female, maybe military, maybe just someone smart who found a good radio. Any frequency, please. This is Refuge Alpha. Coordinates lost, west of Ocala, holding. But the swarm, it's different. Not just clouds, formations, like hunting packs, coordinated, driving prey towards the dead zones. They know, understand, the bites, faster, seconds. God, the screams, they change so fast. We lost Jenkins, single bite, forearm, convulsing in 20 seconds. Gray in 40, attacking in under a minute. Headshot, had to. Fire cleanses. Her voice broke into sobs. Then a sharp intake of breath. Lights! Outside! Big lights! Moving fast! Vehicles! Oh, thank God! Reinforce! The transmission dissolved into a deafening roar. Not static, not gunfire. A sound like a million furious hornets amplified through a stadium speaker. A high-pitched, shrieking screech that overloaded the receiver, followed by a burst of white noise and then silence. Refuge Alpha, silenced. Not by the dead, by the swarm. Hunting packs, understanding. The intelligence, it's not in the shamblers, it's in the swarm. Guiding them. Hurting us. Global silence is breaking. Flickers on the shortwave. Snippets of horror from a dying world. A panicked broadcast from a research vessel off Charleston. Water samples, viral load, exponential, replicating in plankton, God, the seabirds, dropping from the sky, changing before they hit the water, biting each other, feeding frenzy, heading north, Gulf Stream. A ham operator in Atlanta, voice trembling. They're in the subways, moving through the vents, the buzz. It's in the walls, coming through the grates, sealing the doors. But the bites, people changing inside. My wife, she bit little Timmy. Had to. Oh God, had to. Gunshot. Then dead air. From the west, a CB trucker's last stand on I-10 near Tallahassee. Big rig blockade holding, for now. But the cloud, God, the cloud. Rolling in like black fog, covering the road, covering the trucks. Can't see, can't breathe, just the biting, everywhere, burning. Make it stop! Make it stop! The transmission cut into a wet, gargling scream swallowed by the rising, triumphant whine of the swarm. It's everywhere, adapting, evolving, winning. My own strength is fading. The bites, not the big one. The dozens, maybe hundreds of tiny ones I couldn't stop. They burn, like hot needles under the skin. Fever is a constant companion now. Shakes. My vision blurs at the edges. Gray spots dance. Is it exhaustion, or the beginning of the end? The hunger. It's changing. Not for food. Not yet. For warmth? For movement? Saw a rabbit yesterday. Brown fur, trembling. Didn't think of food. Thought of stillness, of silencing it. The urge was sudden, violent, terrifying. I crushed it with a rock, quickly, not for meat, for silence, for control. That scares me more than the things outside. Reached a lock system. Massive concrete structure spanning the canal, rusted gears frozen in time. My path blocked. The only way, climb or swim. The water below is dark, oily, swirling with debris. Something pale floated past. A body, face down, bloated, didn't move. Doesn't mean it's dead. Nothing stays dead. The buzz is deafening here, concentrated, like the whole swarm is converging on this choke point. They know. Saw movement on the far bank. Not the gray ones. People. Survivors. 3 figures. Ragged. Moving fast along the tree line. Heading for the lock stairs. Hope. Again. Stupid. Treacherous hope. I waved. Croaked a warning about the water. They saw me. One pointed. Then the cloud descended. Not from the sky, from the reeds, from the water itself. A dense black fog of mosquitoes rising like a living curtain. It enveloped them. Their screams, high, shrill, agonized. They dropped, not shambling, not rising, just thrashing, convulsing, skin visibly darkening, graying in the space of heartbeats. The swarm wasn't just biting, it was draining, consuming, accelerating the poison, turning them in seconds. The figures stopped thrashing, lay still, then as one they twitched, stood, slowly, jerkily, turned, milky eyes fixed, on me, across the water. They didn't moan, they just stared, hungry, patient. The swarm hovered around them like a dark halo, waiting. The pistol feels heavy in my hand. 3 rounds. Not enough for them. Not enough for the swarm. The machete is slick with grime and old gore. The lock structure looms. Rusted ladders climb the concrete monolith. Up. The only way is up. Onto the catwalks. Exposed. A target for the swarm. For the things that used to be people. For the things in the water. The fever spikes. Sweat stings my eyes. The gray spots multiply. The hunger. The other hunger gnaws at my gut. Not for food. For quiet. For the end of the buzz. They're moving now. The 3 on the far bank. Not shambling. Not running. Walking steadily towards the water's edge. Towards me. They don't enter the water. They stop. At the brink. The swarm parts around them. They just stare. Waiting. The swarm thickens above them, forming a shifting, malevolent crown. It's not random. It's directed, controlled. The intelligence is here, watching, learning, herding me towards the climb, towards exposure, towards the kill zone. The sun bleeds red on the horizon, not a sunrise, a wound in the sky. The light paints the canal in shades of blood and rust. The buzzing rises to a fever pitch, a physical assault on my senses. It's time. Time to climb. Time to run the gauntlet. Time to see if the fever takes me before the teeth or the bites do. 3 rounds. 1 machete. 1 frayed nerve. Against the ascended swarm. Against the patient dead. Against the poisoned world. This is Dr. Arlo Finch, last transmission. Maybe. If you hear this, know it's over. The Sunshine State scream is the world's scream now. Fight if you can. Burn everything. Aim true. Trust nothing. No one. The bite is death. The buzz is the bell tolling. They're starting to wade into the water, slowly, deliberately. The water doesn't stop them. It never did. The swarm parts, letting them through, then closes behind them like a living curtain. Dark water swirls around their knees, their waists. Coming. Always coming. I'm climbing. The rust flakes under my grip like dried blood. The buzz follows. Up. Always up. Into the bleeding sky, into the teeth of the swarm. God forgive us. We didn't know what we...